welcome to the book reading time. Alright, Temeria, the Jewel of the North, has silver lilies on the back and on back background on its emblem. The kingdom, always powerful, is gaining even more prominence in the recent years under the wise rule of good King Foltest. Redania lies to the north across the Pontar River, which mountain ranges can be found in the south and east. One of them is Makamum, a stronghold of dwarves and gnomes, past which the lands of Lyria and Andern lie. The capital, Temeria, is Vizima, located on the shores of Lake Vizima. Maribor is the realm's second largest city. Thought I read that one already, but apparently not. The Nilfgaardian Empire is gigantic. It was once but a single realm, then went on to conquer neighboring lands and assimilate their populations. Today, all who hail from the south are called Nilfgaardians, though some take offense as they sought to preserve their national identity. Nilfgaard is ruled by a tyrannical emperor. He tolerates no opposition and knows no pity. Some call him the white dancing flame on his enemies' barrows. His symbol and the empire's is the silver sun in a black background. It is worth noting that a female ruler of the Valley of Flowers, the sole existing elven state, considers herself a vassal of the emperor. I want to bet that we can go to the Valley of Flowers, and that kind of confirms it. I'm pretty sure we go south of Nilfgaard, or at least close to Nilfgaard for Witcher 3. That's awesome. Is it possible to accurately trace the genes of Lord Doran? The fate of entire generations are lost to time, their picture further distorted by unclear lineages, bastard children, and intentional historical falsification, and simple lack of records. In many cases, elder blood is too thin, has lost its power. Moreover, not every source attributes their magical skills to the presence of Lara's genes. The few in whom the mutation has occurred are marked by extraordinary abilities. They're able to travel through time and space and possess certain magical abilities. Their talents are, however, wild and uncontrollable, manifesting themselves in times of stress or strong emotions, surprising even their possessors. History knows of travelers flung far in time and space by their own abilities. This is why the Brotherhood of Sorcerers should take special care of Source children, raise them under its watchful eyes. That's okay. That pretty much confirms what I thought and what other people think. Interesting. I'll talk more about that later. That's really cool. I don't remember reading that. That's awesome. There's also the book called Elder Blood. Or not Elder Blood. Elf Blood. What am I saying? The way to man's heart is through his stomach. The way to lady's heart is paved with beautiful words and appropriate gifts. Many have lost fortunes trying to win a woman's heart. This book explains how to avoid that fate. One must know that ladies' tastes vary according to their status. A gift fit for a peasant girl will not be pleasant to a noblewoman. Simple girls will be happy with a flower, while refined courtesans will laugh at a bouquet and only show favor presented with a golden ring. But beware a trap. Sometimes, with much effort, you'll win a lady's heart only to become her slave, ready to fulfill her every wish. Boy, earning the heart of your women at the cost of your own head. What the hell? Autumn's scents have pervaded the air. The wind stole the words from our lips. This is the way it must be. Please don't shed these diamonds that run down your cheeks. Okay. Oops. Oh, that was the dandelion thing, yeah. Last wish. Discuss fire genies, also known as Ifrits. Oh, okay. Forgot about that. That's what the genie looks like. Oh, that also makes sense for that one short story, The Last Wish. That's cool. I didn't catch that in my first playthrough. The Brotherhood of Sorcerers ceased to exist after the revolt on Thaddeus Island, when some of the mages were accused of serving Nilfgaard and were arrested or killed. All the important sorceresses were there for a meeting due to transpire on the following day. Neutral mages also perished during the fighting. Among them was Hen Gedramith, who remembered the beginnings of human colonization. Soon after, Tissia de Veris committed suicide. Her death marked the end of the Brotherhood and the advent of the New Order. After the revolt on Thanaid Island, some of the surviving sorcerers grew in prominence. Philippa Eilhart, consolidated her position at Redania's court, while the elf Francesca Findabar, Queen of the Valley of Flowers, there's name popping, Queen Valley Flowers excluded her involvement in human affairs. Triss Marigold, a younger sorceress representing Foltest's interests, also joined in shaping the new order. Cool. Already read that? Yeah. That's not. After the war, people of Rivia were unhappy. Poverty was applied to many, and most believed the kings and magnates betrayed them during the peace talks by not extracting reparations from Nilfgaard. A scapegoat was needed, and as usual, it was the changelings, non-humans, and witchless. Mere Spark was required to send a furious crowd into the streets. Anyone who seemed different was targeted. Dwarves, elves, and those accused of using spells were all murdered. People also used the situation to settle old scores, loot, and rape. I admit shamefully that few were brave enough to stand in defense of the persecuted. Among those, few were the famous Geralt of Rivia, who was seeking to protect his friends and was struck with a pitchfork and died. There would have been more victims if not for the intervention of Triss Marigold. The sorceress let down a powerful hailstorm down on the crowd. Only that powerful spell could stop the rioting. What happened to the body of Geralt of Rivia and those who stood by his side, I do not know. Alright, let me still listen to continue. Luckily, I was able to sell them for the Kikimores. All the workers, warriors, and queens. And giant centipedes, which I'll need because the Kikimore warriors all around. Anyway. Bearer of this letter is a good chap, don't trouble him. Bearer of this letter is the right to be in the streets of the trade quarter during daytime, despite the ban of movement introduced under the state of emergency. There's the Kalkstein notes and the Sephiroths. That's a list of suspects. There's a million of the diaries I have in here. Oh, cool. I did not know that that would give me a character entry. Yeah, I read that. Let's see later. Read that. Also read the Tower Mage's book. Alright. Now straight to the journal. I met Declan Luvard and Richford from Nilfgaard at an inn in the outskirts. Yeah, I remember that was there when he wanted to do the stuff. Belonged to a secret organization, refused to reveal any details. The city guard is used to receiving bribes from Luvarden, who clearly is the city's most law-abiding citizen. Azar Javid. Okay. Mage is in hiding, yet his influence extends over the whole of Vizima and possibly beyond. My adversary is a renegade mage. That means for some reason, he was expelled from the wizard circle. In the past, renegade mages performed the witcher's mutations. I've learned Azar Javed has political ambitions, which is quite typical of wizards. Azar Javed specializes in the element of fire. Not only does the mage use fire magic with a great expertise, it seems that fire has become his being. Women are another weakness of this wizard, and his lust is equal to his appetite for magical power. The man I'm looking for is addicted to Fizdek. He takes large amount of the drug in the purest form. Berengar. He was last seen in the outskirts early. He agreed to kill the beast. Yeah, Berengar remains one step ahead of me. He was a Vizima when he was hired by Coxine, the alchemist, just like me. McCarr made a prostitute for Vizima slums. All the local strumpets follow your opinion, and it can be said that Carmen is their representative. Dandelion heard rumors that the fair's bard, a poet, visited the outskirts. I met Dandelion, who was supposedly always been my best friend from what I've heard. Dandelion is an indefatigable windblag, a buffoon, and a wastrel. He's also a womanizer and incredible talent for getting in trouble. At the same time, Dandelion is a truly talented artist, despite his tendency to wander around the countryside and eke out a living through occasional performances. Dandelion got into trouble and had to help him out. Everything about him has proven to be true. Book entitled The Rivian Pogrom that claims that Geralt, also known as the White Wolf, died from a massacre of non-humans. The pogrom took place in the city of Rivia just before the war with Nilfgaard. Geralt was killed by an angry mob when he tried to defend the oppressed. The sorceress Triss Marigold and the dwarf Sultan Chive witnessed the death. The witcher's body was never found. Golan Vivaldi is a dwarf. He's very touchy about his race. Vivaldi's financiers. Vivaldi lost control of the family business. There's a hostile takeover and the bake is now controlled by human owners. This explains the dwarf's bitterness as well as his poverty. I unfairly suspected Vivaldi of financing Salamandra. The evidence indicates he is innocent. The dwarf hates humans apparently, and doing business with them he's had a chance to see them at their worst. Vivaldi has relations with non-humans, including the persecuted Scoia'tael. He's the author of many alchemical works, including a treatise analyzing attempts to animate inanimate matter, an activity known otherwise in constructing a golem. Apparently, the alchemist has been interested in this matter for years. Kalkstein's convoluted style makes his work difficult to read. Excuse me. Alchemists sometimes use his service as witchers. Berengar used to work for him. Kalkstein has dealings with Vizima's criminal underworld. Strange company for an alchemist to keep. I have proven that Kalkstein is not the Salamandra leader. I'm glad because I could actually go and fall into the alchemist. Make sure there's no one above me. Ramsmeet. I met Ramsmeet, leader of the gang from Temple Quarter. He didn't make a good impression. I think the feeling was mutual. Ramsmeet sent his people to St. Laboda's hospital. His bandits attacked me when I tried to interrogate the prisoner being kept there. My suspicions turned out to be false. I found proof that Ramsmeet is not the leader of Salamandra. Reverend Marlove, detective. I hired a detective named Raymond Marlove to help me search for Salamandra's leader. Raymond, a bitter and cynical man, refused to lift a finger until I paid him, but he seems to know a lot, including his craft. Someone assumed the detective's identity and I can prove it. Found the detective's body. Someone discovered I was working with him and clearly didn't like that. They killed him and assumed his identity. I needed to know why. Alright, Shani works at St. Labodia's hospital during the day, spends evenings at her lodgings in the Temple Quarter. She hates it when people disturb her at work, so it's best to visit her later in the day. During the party, Shani recounted her experiences during the Battle of Brenna, where she tended the wounded. I have a feeling Shani has come to like me a lot. Somebody die. After the Leo's funeral, the sources teleported to Vizima. She decided to use the extensive contract to search information on Salamandra. Okay, I read that. Triss found me in the swamp where I lay unconscious after my clash with Azar Javed. She transported me to her house in the trade quarter and took care of me until I came around. Lying there awake, I overheard Triss gossiping with her friend on the magic communicator, and now I know that other sources are also interested in Salamandra. Okay. During the day, he found at the store, which is located in the house of the Temple Quarter. Oh, he owned many things that belonged to Berengar and also deals in illegal goods. The fence is a repulsive man, he uses particularly foul language. The other put Berengar's witcher equipment up for sale. I wonder how he acquired these things. The fence's circle of influence is really wide. It also includes city guards. For Fence and a thug, Taylor has surprisingly extensive contacts, not only with these, but also among the affluent. Turns out Taylor is the chief of Temerian intelligence, and his fence guise is simply one of the many assumed personalities. Vasquez, the leader of the brickmakers who live in the swamp, she talks in riddles and seems a bit crazy. She seems to worship the water lords, probably the Voidinoi, and is quite touchy when it comes to them. Matala, I met a talking ghoul, a real freak of nature. Vincent Mice, Captain City Guard, released a professor, one of the most wanted criminals of Temeria. Vincent is the captain of the City Guard and the main executioner of the King's Law in the Temple Quarter. Vincent Mize was one of the few who knew that I was going into the sewers to kill cockatrices, and that I could only leave by the exit where I counted the Salamandra bandits. On his orders, the city guards were forbidden to talk about Salamandra. People say it's impossible to get in touch with Mize at night. After dark, the captain vanishes into thin air. The captain of the city guard is innocent. I have evidence to prove that he wasn't collaborating with Salamandra. Yavin the elf is conceited as he is eloquent. He seems cunning and wise. Moreover, he despises humans, considering them aggressive barbarians, and he has respect only for the elder races. Still, this disillusioned elf treats me with respect in his own peculiar way. Everything suggests that Yavin is preparing for battle. In the swamp, he has created a training camp for the Scoia'tael under his command. Scoia'tael, led by Yavin, defeated the Order of the Flaming Rose during the clash in the Golem burial ground, which I helped. Locations: Guardhouse. Law and order in the trade quarter is the responsibility of the city guard, which is headquartered at the guardhouse. Burgermeister Veleran can be found here often. He oversees all affairs connected with crime and security in the city. Mage's Tower. Ansof Or is a tome that details a very tangled manner where to look for the Sephiroth, stones which will open the tower to the swamp. The first stone is a wise person, the second one will come with freedom, the third stone is in the possession of someone wealthy, while a merciful person has the fourth. 3 other stones are guarded by a girl, a mother, and an old hag. They can be attained through sacrifice and prayer. The 8th Sephiroth is hidden underground in the swamp and guarded by death. The 9th must be attained by fighting its guardian, while the 10th and final will be a reward for tenaciously seeking the truth. The secret gates recount the story of a mage who built a tower in the swamp. To erect the building on the marshland, the sorcerer had to tame the element of earth and protect the tower's spells. While delving into the secrets of magic, the sorcerers trifled with the forces of nature. The mage was betrayed by his beloved, a magical cataclysm ensued. Catastrophe struck, and the mage perished, and all his works were sealed in the tower. The new Nerakar is a large, high-class inn frequently by the most important people in Vizima. One can enjoy a conversation over a goblet of good wine, play dice, or try one's strength against the best pugilists in the capital. Pugilist. In the evenings, the new Nerakar hosts exclusive, invitation-only receptions. Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard Empire is the powerful and ancient realm in the far south, and its capital is the city of Nilfgaard, located on the river Alba. The empire arose through conquest, assimilating nearby kingdoms. Only inhabitants of the lands near the river Alba have the right to call themselves Nilfgaardians. I have to look at the actual map. No, there's no fjords or any like mountain ranges on this side. Yeah, not sure. I'll have to look at where exactly and which three we're at. A significant amount of elven blood runs in the veins of the people, while their language is a variant of Elder language. The Empire is aggressive and willingly invades neighboring lands. Its war with the Northern Kingdoms ended 5 years ago, yet in spite of the peace treaty, Nilfgaard has failed to give up its claims in the northern territories. Redania, one of the Northern Kingdoms. Redania is a wealthy realm which profits from trade and agriculture. Jesus Christ. For ages, it has fought a customs war with Temeria, which is its main competitor in the north. The country possesses the best intelligence service in the world. The government of Redania is heavily influenced by sorceresses. Sewers. Oh, Shawnee's home, whatever. Shawnee's home and sewers. It's easy to find Shawnee's home is located by the statue of the rod of Asclepius. The building is owned by an old lady with a difficult personality. One has to carry favor with her to get inside. The sewers beneath Vizima were built in the age when ancient elven cities stood on the site. Not much of the original greatness remains, but they still serve their function well. Connecting the temple court and the trade quarter, they carry off sewage from the entire city, rendering the stench of the gutters a little less overbearing. The sewers have recently become infested with monsters, especially drowners. Apparently a cockatrice has also made its lair there. Found a way to reach a Salamandra hideout in the city sewers. Across the lake from the Vizima lies a large area of marshlands which is home to small human communities, but also various monsters. It's not safe there. Even during the day, a drowner or blood geyser can spawn from the murky water at any moment. Casual travelers should also be mindful of its misleading will-o'-the-wisps, which have a tendency to lure unwary adventurers further into the swamp until they become mired in mud and perish. To reach a swamp, one must hire a ferryman at the dike of Vizima and take the boat across the lake. Trot had a sneeze, figured I wouldn't record it. A group of lumberjacks works deep within the marshlands, making money by selling lumber to Vizimian craftsmen. They are led by a dwarf named Naren Bolt, who rules a small community with an iron fist. The swamp is a home to brickmakers who make their living excavating and firing clay. There's a small secluded village where life proceeds at its own pace. A somewhat crazy woman named Vasca leads them. Swamp is in a place where a man must bow before nature in all its wild, tangled grandeur. This is why druids have settled there, establishing a sacred grove with the tree of life at its center. Disciples of nature also allow no violence within the grove. They tend to sick animals, even taking in the wounded dryads. The misty marshes hide many secrets. For example, there's a small clearing where statues of powerful golems are half buried in the mud as if frozen mid-step. One of them is particularly unsettling, towering ominously over the clearing, which I killed. Vivaldi Bank, like in any large city, Vizima has a branch of the dwarf-owned Vivaldi Bank. It's located in a sturdy building with thick stone walls. Guards armed to the teeth watching armored safes, while wealthy clients can count on discreet professional service. The bank is renowned, and so its reputation did not suffer when rumors began circulating of a hostile takeover. Apparently, the bank's owner was having financial problems, and anonymous investor took advantage. Triss's home. Triss lives in a quarter building in a small square where a statue plinth stands. Benefit is a monument. Monument. The statue itself, which bore the likeness of an elven philosopher, was recently melted down to make a new bell for the cloister of the Order of the Flaming Rose. The sorceress has decorated her home very luxuriously, if not extravagantly. There are many expensive devices here, as well as magical components and equipment. Vizima, the capital city of Temeria. Okay, I read that. Oh no, this is new. Okay. Vizima, the capital city of Temeria, is the largest city in the kingdom. It's located on the shore of Lake Vizima at the intersection of important trade routes, one of which is the waterway. Owing to developed network of roads. Excuse me. Owing to developed network of roads, the city draws considerable profit from trade. By King Foltest's order, the city is governed by Burgomaster Veleran. Vizima is divided into 3 large districts. The poorest one is the Temple Quarter, where St. Luboda's Hospital and the closest to the Order of Flaming Roses is located. The Trade Quarter is home to the wealthiest and most important inhabitants. Both the Town Hall and the main marketplace is suited there. The oldest part of the city, Old Vizima, is recently converted into a ghetto for non-humans. Monsters. Giant centipedes. Giant centipedes are encountered in the forest or in meadows, regions where they find many places to hide. Due to these simple nervous systems, they see almost everything as a source of food. Immune to blinding, bleeding, and knockdown attempts, resistant to stun attempts. They're sensitive to silver insectoid oil. They are blind, but they sense the tremors. In combat, they try to knock opponents down to poison them, and their acid venom causes pain. Tracheae, the venom glands, and the toxin. Giant centipedes are said to have been raised in Brooklyn lawn, and released in the world by vengeful dryads. The creatures are believed to be invincible, as they simply divide into 2 separate living beasts when cut in half. All this nonsense about giant centipedes only shows how intensely common people fear these venomous beasts, as they fear all things non-human. Owlghouls appear in the necrophilies crypts. Immune to common poisons and resistant to knockdown attempts. Sensitive to silver, the strong style is most effective against owlghouls. Experienced witches use the group style when fighting multiple ghouls. Owlghouls try to knock down their victims and eat them alive. Cadaver and white vinegar and owlghoul marrow. Owlghouls are ghouls which have been devouring corpses for so many years that human flesh has become irresistible and they begin to prey on the living. They are seen in crypts and on battlefields, frequently surrounded by ghouls. Simple folk do not notice the difference between these 2 types of scavengers, unlike butchers who know that owlghoul is a more aggressive and challenging opponent. Alps lurk in caves, ruins, and abandoned houses, always near human settlements. They are fearless and resistant to stun attempts. They are sensitive to silver and vampire oil. Alps attack by surprise, try to daze their victims and drink their blood. Abomination lymph, Nizaran salts, and Alpfangs. Another monster inspires so many myths and fallacies as the Alp. People believe that this vampire is able to turn into a black dog or a venomous toad. They mistake Alps for succubi, believing them to be lecherous and inclined to seduce handsome young men. Folk tales describe their charm and their beautiful, seductive voices, as well as the loathing of virgins. What is true beyond all doubt is that they move noiselessly and attack by surprise, rarely giving their victims as much as a chance to scream in terror. Water. Okay. Arc spores grew in places where particularly cruel crimes have been committed, or in the tombs of victims of such crimes. They are immune to all mind effects, fear, stun, and the axicide. They feel no pain and cannot be poisoned, blinded, knocked down, or bled to death. Arc spores are sensitive to silver and very susceptible to incineration attempts. Arc spores shoot poison thorns. You get their juice and spores. Some crimes are so terrible that they fill people with terror and offend the gods. The criminals' ill will and cruelty of the deed conceive of a curse that will bring the arc spore to life. Beast attacks innocent creatures hatefully, trying to take vengeance until justice is done. The basilisk. Basilisks choose dark and damp places like caves and abandoned canal branches as their dwellings. They're immune to most poisons, resistant to stun attempts. They are sensitive to silver and ore store oil. The basilisk's most dangerous weapon is its venom. It's one of the strongest known toxins, and you get the venom glands from them. Simple people call the basilisk the king of the Zerrikinian deserts, often mistaken for the cockatrice. They claim that the beast is filled with such hatred towards all living things that even its breath is venomous, and its glance turns unwary to stone. In fairy tales, the only certain way to kill a basilisk is by holding a mirror in front of its eyes to divert its deadly gaze. Witchers reply that it's far better to smash the mirror on the creature's head. Scimitar. Scimitars are rare. They're found on the battlefields and cemeteries just like other necrophages. They're immune to common poisons, resistant to knockdown and stun attempts. They're sensitive to silver and necrophage oil. Scimitars try to knock down their victims and eat them alive. Scimitar jars jaws, white vinegar, and abomination lymphs. Much has been written about ghouls and grave eaters since they have been encountered by common people in the times of war or in cemeteries. Cemeteries are rare, but when they appear in the necropolis, they take it over. All ghouls respect them and must bow to them. Bruxa. Bruxa choose to live in ruins, abandoned human settlements, more rarely in caves and grottos. They are fearless and resistant to stun attempts. Sensitive to silver and vampire oil, they attack by surprise, try to gaze their victims and drink their blood. Abomination lymph, Nazarean salts, and Bruxa blood. It's said that night, Bruxa hunt attractive young men and drink their blood. These vampires move quietly in the dark to suddenly emerge near their victims. Bruxa may take the form of beautiful girls, leading some to mistake them for water nymphs, but their long fangs and unrestrained thirst for blood always betray them. Devourer. Devourers are scavengers which live near human settlements, usually in caves and ruins. They are immune to conventional poisons and resistant to knockdown attempts. Sensitive to silver and necrophage oil. Devourers try to knock their victims down and eat them alive. Shadow dust, cadaver, and albarkisters and devour teeth. Devourers are often called witches because they resemble old, ugly women, and they're famous for their witch-like viciousness. These creatures gorge themselves on human flesh, although they willingly eat carcasses. Above all, they crave flesh that is fresh and warm. Devourers hunt after dark in groups that peasants refer to as Sabbaths. They like to deceive their victims and torture them, but there's no truth about the tales of their midnight fights on broomsticks and their gingerbread houses. Econops grow in places where crimes have been committed or on the graves of victims of such crimes. Immune to any effects which influence the mind, fear, stun, axi-sign, they feel no pain, and can either be poison, blinded, knocked down, or bled to death. Econopsy is sensitive to silver and highly susceptible to incineration attempts. Econopsy are rooted in the ground, but they shoot with poison thorns. Econops rootstock and spores. Econopsy are monstrous plants which grow in places which terrible crimes have been committed. The beasts try their vengeance on criminals, but they do not spare the lives of innocent who have haplessly enter their territory. Flitters are lesser-known vampires which usually hunt in the run-down city districts. They are also found in cemeteries in the wilderness. They are fearless and resistant to sun effects. They are sensitive to silver and vampire oil. They dive with opponents from the air. They try to daze their victims and drink their blood. Abomination lymph and wing membrane. Common people believe that fletters are dead heathens who turned into vampires and rose from their graves. Being vampires, they attack sleeping people and drink their blood. According to peasants, a man bitten by a fletter becomes a felder himself. That is nonsense, obviously. A lot of new monster entries, it seems. Garkins are lesser vampires found most frequently at cemeteries or near abandoned houses, buildings, where they nest. They are fearless and resistant to stun attempts. They're sensitive to silver and vampire oil. They try to daze their victims and drink their blood. Okay, Great Frontier, go away. They try to daze their victims and drink their blood. Garkins, saliva, wing membrane, and abomination lymph. Garkins, the filthiest of vampires, are uglier even than fletters. Since fletters are widely despised for their looks, it's easy to imagine how abominable Garkins must be. As vampires, their creatures drink blood, but they are also drawn to fresh meat, even corpses. Garkins are often mistaken for gargoyles because they lurk on rooftops waiting to dive at their victims. A lot of entries. Ifrit inhabits the plains of fire. Mages who have achieved mastery in controlling the element of fire are able to summon them and force them into servitude. Immune to most effects, especially incineration. Ifrits come from another world, but they cannot be knocked down or stunned. They're sensitive to silver and specter oil. They float in the air and fire in combat, and you get pyrite and ectoplasm. Ifrit is a minor genie of fire, or as some say, an elemental. It does not fulfill wishes, build palaces, or make anyone rich, but serves mages who research the element of fire if they can force the creature to be obedient. Ifrits can only be captured by a mage who intimately understands the nature of flames and has devoted himself completely in learning their secret. Creatures with their connection to the element of fire will judge our summoner, and if they find him worthy, will loyally serve him in all matters. Kikimor Queen. The Kikimor Queen chooses quiet, damp, and dark places where she can lay her eggs in peace. She surrounds herself with their offspring, creating a colony not unlike an anthill. Resistant to all effects due to her very thick armor, Kikimor Queen is very hard injured, regardless of whether the sword is silver or steel. Kikimora queens move very slowly, that is their only weakness. They can knock down and kill a man with a single blow, and you get the Kikimora's queen's nerve. Some scientists claim Kikimoras behave like ants. They divide into industrious workers and protective warriors. Life in a Kikimora colony centered around a great, unceasingly procreating female. The landscape around the queen's nest looks like a desert littered with the remains of unfortunate creatures which unwisely lingered into the area. Not even birdsong can be heard. Kikimora warriors protect their queen and Kikimora workers as they dig tunnels or look for food. They are immune to most effects, including blinding, resistant to knockdown, and they use scent to communicate with other Kikimoras. They're sensitive to silver and insectoid oil. During combat, warriors spit acid, blinding their opponents and causing crippling pain. Tracheae and venom glands and toxin. More abominable beast is indeed hard to find. Not quite a cockroach nor a spider. It makes ladies faint and gentlemen feel disgusted. The Kikimora warrior reeks of the swamp. For this reason, I insist exhibit number 88 be removed from the University Assembly Hall. And anticipating the question of what should be done with it, then I answer throw it in the compost heap. From a request submitted to the president of Oxford University. Kikimora warriors rarely appear far from the colonies, unless in search of food. They are immune to blinding and bleeding attempts. They are sensitive to silver and insectoid oil, susceptible to knockdown attempts. Though blind, they detect vibrations that have a keen sense of smell. They spit acid. They use scent to communicate with other Kikimoras. Tracheae, claws, and toxin. Kikimoras are insults of the gods, the filthiest creatures on earth. They are repulsive in their resemblance to spiders, and even the smallest in them, the workers, are dangerous. So say the uneducated, superstitious, and the stupid. The truth is far different. Kikimora warriors rarely appear near human settlements, and even they only attack when threatened. Is there anything more beautiful than the Kikimora, a symbol of hard work, resourcefulness, and caution? Master Dorian Gray, the wonderful world of insectoids. Night wraith. Night wraiths appear on fields and meadows. They can be found after dark. When the moon is high, they are specters, but at the same time they maintain a strong connection with the natural world. They see the living, but cannot understand them because the dead cannot hear the living. They are immune to blinding, poison, pain, and bleeding attempts. They are fearless. They are sensitive to silver and specter oil. They are able to grasp the moonlight and blind their enemies with it. They drop death dust, shadow dust, and ectoplasm. Night wraiths are born in moonlight, wind, and the earth cooling at the heat of the day. They rise above the ground and whirl in mad dance, which should not be seen by any mortal. If caught peeping, the mortal is blinded by moonlight, then taken in a circle and forced to dance until he expires, at times becoming a night wraith himself. Noon wraith. Noon wraiths haunt cultivated fields and meadows. They appear when the sun is high. They are specters, but at the same time they retain a strong connection to the natural world. They see the living but cannot understand them because the dead cannot hear the living. They are immune to blinding, poison, pain, and bleeding attempts. They are fearless. They are sensitive to silver and specter oil. Excuse me. They are able to grasp sun rays and blind their enemies with it. They drop death dust, shimmering dust, and ectoplasm. Noon wraiths are born at the high noon moon of heat, sadness, and sweat of plowmen. In the hot air above the fields, they gather to dance madly, creating air vortexes, but the specters dislike being watched. Those who people are forced to dance with them. Noon wraiths stop their dance when the sun goes down. Once they abducted mortals, long dead and from fear and exhaustion. Royal wyverns are larger and more aggressive than their common cousins. They live in the wilderness, often in the mountains, as they like to build their nest on precipices. They attack any creature entering the territory. They are resistant to stun attempts, immune to poison, and are generally fearless. They're sensitive to silver and orange store oil. They dive at the opponents, try to knock them down, and poison them with venom. They are more clever than the common wyverns and thus harder to defeat. They drop the toxin and wing membrane venom glands. The female warrior raven is smaller but more cunning and venomous than her male counterpart. She can be aggressive towards both males and other females. She is a perfect example of how gender relations among humans have their source in the animal world. This is altogether not surprising. Master Dorangay against the institution of measures. Striga. Striga is a woman transformed into a monster by a curse. She is filled with hatred and towards all living beings, devouring them gladly. A Striga may tolerate necrophagus and needs a hideout during the day. Once choosing a sarcophagus. Wow. Sarcophagus. Jesus Christ, why am I butchering that? In a forgotten branch of the crypt. Notice after long times of reading constantly for half hour or more, I tend to just mess up the words horribly. Oh well, I'm still going to read and persevere through it. Sensitive to silver, Striga may be free from her curse by those who survive a night in her sarcophagus. Thank you. Striga is a very strong and agile creature, but not as resilient as she might seem. She attacks by surprise and tries to tear opponents to pieces without giving them a chance to fight back. Near her sarcophagus, Striga is always stronger. And she drops a Striga heart. Where does it come from? Spells, magic? I have no idea, sire. The sages researched these phenomena. For us witches, is enough to know that strong will may create them. We also like to know how to fight them. Kill them? Most frequently, yes. That is what we are usually paid for. If you want the spell lifted, people usually just want to be protected. If the monster has killed people, revenge may be another motive. Werewolves are lycanthropes, which means they're shape changers. Humans transform into werewolves as a result of curses. Creatures lurk near human settlements. They're resistant to steel and most effects. They're sensitive to silver. They attack with fury and like to be on the offensive, confident they're resistant to conventional weapons. And they drop werewolf fur. Baron Wolfstein buried his face in his hand. His heart was throbbing. Suddenly the scent of his wife's blood and the blood of his children intensified. The Baron's body swelled, his muscles grew. His noble attire fell in tatters on the marble floor. My beloved, you are so hairy. You are a werewolf. Bianca went pale. What about her love? In reply, she heard a terrifying roar. Daniel Stone, The Curse of Baron Wolfstein, and Other Love Stories. The Wild Hunt. Interesting one I want to read. Still haven't got a bloody thunder on him. The Wild Hunt appears in the sky as a harbinger of war and other misfortunes. Some believe it is simply a magical phenomenon, not a horde of specters. Elven sources refer to them as the Red Riders. No information is available about fighting the Wild Hunt. None. Warriors of the Wild Hunt do not have to fight. They inspire such terror that people cower in a mere glimpse. They also known instances of abductions by the Wild Hunt. And they drop vapors in the hunt. Wild Hunt is a sort of specters that roams the sky during storms and is an omen of disaster. The appearance of the Wild Hunt foreshadows war and woe, which as the comet does. A spectral Wild Hunt sometimes appears in the nightmares of the cursed, or those touched by destiny, like Geralt's. Wyvern. Wyverns live in the wilderness or near human settlements. They are a natural element of the ecosystem. They are prized by druids who tame them. They are resistant to stun and poison attempts. They are sensitive to silver and ore store oil. They dive at their opponents, try to knock them down, and poison them with venom. Toxin and wing membrane, venom glands. Wyverns are unlikely to be frequently mistaken for dragons. Seeing a reptile approaching a flock of sheep, peasants panic. They expect it to bring fire, massacre everyone, and abduct the local virgins. While it's true that wyverns hunt sheep, they neither breathe fire nor they waste whole villages. They're completely indifferent to virgins. Race hunt the places where they died or were buried. Though they are specters which do not belong in this world. Sometimes they are summoned by magic, but more frequently the unfinished business makes them linger in our world. Immune to blinding and bleeding attempts, they are fearless and immune to poison, pain, and knockdown attempts. They are sensitive to silver and spectre oil, makes the wounds it inflicts more painful. Suffering experienced right away makes the wounds it inflicts more painful. They drop death dust and ectoplasm. If you want to get rid of Wraith, you must first find his body. Try searching on hallowed ground or in a corner of the cemetery where owls are buried. When you dig up the corpse, you would discover that it is not rotten and that there is blood on his lips. Pierce the corpse with an aspen stake, cut off the head, and place it between the corpse's legs. Make certain that the Wraith will never return, set the corpse on fire. One false step mean your demise. Alright, now formula. Alright, brown oil. Brown oil accelerates bleeding. Creatures lacking a circulatory system immune to its effects. The oil is made by mixing ingredients providing a total of 1 measure of each of ribis, aether, and cupreth. 2 measures of vermilion and top quality grease must be used as a base. Devil's Puffball. Upon detonation, the bomb sprays a cloud of poison, affecting nearby enemies, so those resistant to poison might not be harmed. Devil's Puffball is made by mixing ingredients provided 1 measure of each of rubus and hydrogenum. 2 measures of aether and high quality black powder must be used as a base, and it varies on depending attributes. The formula for this bomb was developed by Zeracanian alchemists and migrated to the northern kingdoms thanks to traveling merchants. Curse your enemy bearing the name of Comrade Agtur, the lionhead spider. Dip your blade in oil, enemy wounded with the dagger or bleed to death even from a slight wound. Dragon's Dream. A bomb releases a cloud of flammable gas which causes destructive explosion when ignited. Dragon's Dream bomb is made by mixing ingredients providing 1 measure of each of ribis, cupreth, and vermilion. A measures of hydrogenum. Top quality black powder must use as a base and varies depending on opponent attributes. Zeracunians worship dragons, and it is no surprise in the mixture, which releases a cloud of flammable gas, is named after the Fusion beast. Whoever detonates a dragon's dream is sure to conjure the spirit of the creature itself. Insectoid oil. Blade cord of the substance inflicts increased damage on all insectoid creatures. This oil is made by mixing ingredients that provide a total of one measure of each of Rebus, Cuberth, Aether, and Vermilion. High quality grease must be used as a base, and is long lasting. High Varus, Kikumors, and other insectoids suffer greater damage from weapons coated in this poison invented by witchers. Witchers also use insectoid oil to rid their fortress of bugs and parasites. Kiss increases resistance to bleeding and stanches any current bleeding. The potion is made by mixing ingredients, providing a measure of vermilion and 2 measures of vitriol. Strong alcohol must be used as a base. The duration of the effects is long-lasting and toxicity is medium. Potion affects pushers and mutated bodies by forcing their blood to congeal almost instantaneously. It's often consumed before taking on monsters known to inflict hemorrhaging wounds. Petrus Pillar increases the tenacity of all Witcher signs. Potions made by mixing ingredients, providing 1 measure of each of Cuberth, Hydrogenum, and Vermilion. 2 measures of Rebus, concentrated, high-quality alcohol must be used as the base, is long-lasting and has very high toxicity. Throughout his life, the mage Petrus sought a way to strengthen his magical powers. He failed in this endeavor, but several interesting potions came about through his attempts. One of these, known as Petrus Filter, is useful to witchers with magical skills. Witchers that prefer hand-to-hand combat rarely use Petrus Filter, however, especially since it's highly toxic and thus renders the use of other potions impossible. Samium. Upon detonation, the bomb stuns any creatures within range, provided they are not immune to its effect. Samium is made by mixing ingredients, providing 1 measure of each of Aether and Vermilion, and 2 measures of Rebus. High-quality black powder must be used as a base, and that varies depending on opponent attributes. Zeracunian wizards have learned to harness the energy of hot desert storms and bind it into an arcane mixture. When detonated, the Samium releases energy and stuns opponents with the ferocity of desert winds. The Zeracunian Sun. Upon detonation, the bomb releases a flash of light, blinding all nearby opponents. The Zeracunian Sun is made by mixing ingredients, providing 1 measure each of Cuberth, Aether, Vermilion, and Hydrogenum. High quality black powder must be used as a base, and it varies depending on the opponent's attributes. Assassins from the sect known as Zeracunian Sun uses flash bomb to cover their escape after eliminate a target. Sentries and guards are blinded by the flash, more likely to attack each other than their opponent. The sect trains its assassins to close their eyes instinctively at the moment of detonation. Witchers need not to do this, as the mutated pupils automatically narrow in response to the explosion. Cool. Ingredients. Kikumor Claws, obtained from Kikumor carcasses. Ogre obtained from all ghoul bodies. Allspice fruit, root of the magical plant grown by druids. Alp fangs, obtained from alp carcasses. Arcspore juice, obtained from arcspore carcasses. Megatic blossom, blossom of a poisonous and hallucinogenic swamp plant. Bruxa blood, obtained from Bruxa carcasses. Rhinoia, stems of a plant on the wastelands. Scimitar draw, obtained from the scimitar corpse. Devourer teeth, obtained from devourer corpses. Declawar, strong alchemical solvent. Equinops rootstock, obtained from Equinops carcasses. Ergot seeds, seeds of a common weed. Farronweed, the fallow which grows only in a place marked by elder blood. Fool's parsley leaves, fleshy leaves of a swamp plant. Garkin saliva, obtained from the Garkin bodies. Genitalia petals, the flower petals of common bush. And a poisonous field plant. Honeysuckle, leaves of a plant growing in barren terrain. Hop umbrus, umbrels of a plant used in brewing. Lunar shards, lumps of silvery silvery material which shines in the dark. Mandrake root, root of a poisonous plant with magical properties. Mistletoe, herb of the holy plant of the druids. Zayan salts, obtained from the carcasses of Alps and Bruxae. Optimum mater, catalyst highly valued by alchemists. Phosphorus, a highly flammable alchemical substance. Powder of pearl or crushed white pearl. Pyrite, its stone containing the essence of fire. It can also be obtained from Ifrits. Quicksilver solution, alchemical ingredient that can be used in place of certain monster parts when producing alchemical concoctions. Shadow dust, obtained from the bodies of night wraiths and devourers. Shimmering dust, substance that remains after noon wraiths are defeated. Spores, obtained from equinox and archspore carcasses. Sulfur, a yellow alchemical substance. Striga heart removed from a striga carcass. Fifth essence, hard to obtain alchemical distillate. Trachea, obtained from the carcass of Kilkimores and giant centipedes. Venom glands, obtained from the carcasses of giant centipedes, wyverns, basilisks, and Kikimore warriors. Rubinia, a common flowering plant. Werewolf fur torn from a werewolf body. Whitestone, a substance made from wine by witchers. Wing membrane, obtained from the bodies of gargans, wyverns, and fledders. Wolf saddle, the leaves of a potted plant. Wolfsbane, a druid's herb. Now the glossary. Yeah, no, that's nothing new. Famous prayer, lawyers who ran a firm in Dorian until both partners died tragically under mysterious circumstances. At sight, the firm was retained by the people all over Temeria. If someone had difficulties, troubles, problems, they went to Cogdreds and Finn. So the firm's clerks quickly recovered proof of dishonesty and malpractice by the business partner. They could count on receiving credit. Sorry about that. They could count on receiving credit from a bank without insurance on security. As one of the long list of creditors, they would be the only one to extract what was due from the company declaring bankruptcy. Their son would be released from the dungeon and cleared of all charges based either on irrefutable evidence or lack thereof. Because if evidence existed, it disappeared mysteriously, while witnesses retracted any earlier testimony. The wife's lover or the daughter's tutor would suffer complicated fractures in 3 limbs, including at least one upper one, as a result of an unfortunate accident. An enemy with a grudge or some other troublesome individual would soon stop being a nuisance, often vanishing into thin air. That's how Conjure and Fen worked. Poet Dandelion contemplates whether human life is ruled by destiny. Dandelion mentions the law of surprise, wherein the Witcher demands from a man rescued on the road that which he does not expect once he returns home. Turns out to be a child born during the father's absence. Witchers take the unexpected children to their fortresses and train them to be their successors. Dandelion also wonders whether love can blind people with the bonds of destiny. In no ballad does he provide a clear answer to the questions posed. Dementrium. Dementrium is a rare and precious metal with an interesting feature. It represents the transfer of magical energy. Bluish alloy of iron and dementrium is used to produce handcuffs and necklaces. Those who wear them cannot cast spells or use magic in any way. There are known cases, however, extraordinarily powerful sorcerers may overcome the shield generated by dementrium. Gifts. Geralt can present gifts to many of the characters in the game. Usually the recipients express their gratitude by offering useful items or information. Gifts can also help Geralt win the affection of women. The trick is to choose the right gift from Geralt's inventory. Usually characters themselves suggest the kind of gift they would like to receive, and Geralt can figure out what would make them happy based on hints. For example, peasant women like to receive flour, while townswomen prefer jewelry or clothing. Prostitutes would rather get money, and elegant courtesans desire precious gems. It's also important to remember that a badly chosen gift may insult the recipient. Oh, there's Calcasine's notes. Here's what I've read from Calcasine's notes. Compassion, Tipperoth, Thicklin, Luvarden. Fortunately, Calcasine spelled this one out for me. Whatever drawn the link between Luvarden and Compassion. Mercy, Kezarth, Vasca, the leader of the brickmakers in the swamp. How does Mercy figure into our relationship? Kingdom, Markland, the servers beneath Vizima, one of my favorite places. Calcasine must have had a gnome. Must have had a gnome for an ancestor if you imagine associate sewers with some bit from a book. Understanding power, glory, Vinath, Girdathan, and Oth. The statues in Melitele, one in the swamp, the other in St. Labodi's hospital. I have no idea what prayer without faith can possibly mean, but it's worth a try. Foundation, Yezoth. Cave in the swamp, more evidence to show that Calcastine's ancestors were gnomes. Cave in the swamp and the concept of foundation, I can't make anything of it, we'll see. Victory in Nista, the tower center, right, that wasn't hard, except I need to feed them. Crown, Cathar, Destiny. Here Kalkstein outdid himself. He notes indicate I'll find the last Sephiroth by chance, for instance, while sitting in the privy or in the roast chicken I ordered at the Hairy Bear. An unknown. Destiny would throw it into my hands. Next time I see Kalkstein, I'll ask him if he hides Noma's Rouge on purpose, fearing racist persecution. The largest source system found after the mutiny on Dernet Island as a substitute for the Council of Sorceresses. The founder's aim was to bring the war with Nilfgaard and the Northern Kingdoms to a close, while maintaining the mage's influence on the fate of the world. The organization remains active to this day. It is effectively an association of the most powerful mages from both the northern and the southern realms. The Lodge has a significant political influence, though its activities are not entirely understood by the public. Magic is the art of blending the power count. Power used to cast spells drawn from the elements. Fire is best, but simultaneously most dangerous elemental source. Mages who specialize in the magic of fire often achieve great power, but they pay the price for it. As fire addicts, they often suffer burns or even die engulfed in flames. The essence of fire become their essence. Which makes them vulnerable to water. Order of Flaming Rose established by the War of Nilfgaard. There's that. The Book of the People of the Shadows reveals some secrets regarding the genesis of the Order of the Flaming Rose. According to the author, the Order was established with the help of the Redanian intelligence service to counter the sorceresses, who were organizing themselves and growing in power. Furthermore, the author believes that the Redanian intentionally refused to grant a charter to the main commandery of the Order, thus preventing a strong organization from planting roots within the country's borders. Okay, let's go clear out the tutorials. There's Axie-sign. Quinn, you're in toxicity. Ooh, now time to read the quest. Chapter 2. What the hell? I missed that somehow? Hold up. Yeah, that's okay, whatever. That was weird, okay. Anyway, chapter 2, show stuff. Okay. Let's find out what's going on in the haunted house in the corner of the poor. Gravedigger's gratitude. Or the permit. Gravedigger says the cemetery should be full of clues. I just need a permit to enter. I need to ask someone who has contacts among the city guards, or I could just buy the Gravedigger's debts from Thaler. Thaler. If I mention Thaler, the Gravedigger will let me in. Gravedigger is very grateful that I bought out his debts from Thaler and allowed me entry into the cemetery. I should look around the crypt. The cemetery is open. The gate is open. I sense trouble. Found Raymond's body. Azar must have killed and impersonated him. How could I have fallen for this illusion? I have to tell the Gravedigger about this. After all, it's his cemetery. I also should return his key. Found the body of the real Raymond at the cemetery. Finding my way through all the ghouls was worth it. And the old friend of mine was... Okay, damn. There's a lot of quests here. Oh yeah, that was this one. Long way from home. Monsters. Lumberjacks are in trouble. They have been cut from the supplies by wandering monsters. Bolt promised to pay me if I deal with this threat. I must quickly kill the monsters blocking the road and take care of the Voidinoi issue. Time really matters. Perhaps I should go to Vasca, as she seems to get along with the fish people as well. Blood Cruisers. Group of Blood Cruisers destroyed the swamps. Has been destroyed. The swamps are now in a better place. Equinops are dead, and I doubt I will miss them. Drowners left this world, this time for good. Vasca, the elder woman of the brickmakers, persuaded me to try and settle the conflict with the Voidinoi peacefully. She instructed me how to deliver a message to the aquatic race. I should get their attention by placing an item at the altar between the glade pits. A Voidian will then come at night and leave an item as well. Placing Aaron's axe at the altar will show our will to lay down our weapons and make our peace. I have convinced Aaron Bolt to solve the problems without bloodshed. He gave me his axe to present the Voidinoi as a sign of peace. I must take it to the altar. At midnight, one of the fish people will appear. If he approves of the offering, he will leave something in return. Left the axe in the altar. In return, I received a name that symbolizes peace. I must go to Aaron Bolt and tell him about it. I did everything Aaron Bolt asked me to. I should go to him and collect my reward. Aaron Bolt is happy with my services. He paid me according to the agreement. Promise. I told Vasca that the boy's disappearance had nothing to do with the druids and I promised to bring him home if I find him. A eccentric young man asked me to obtain a very rare wine for him. I am to go to a house with the most well-stocked cellar. The only hitch about this is the fact that the cellar is used to be occupied by the monsters. I guess this is the wine Conrad was looking for. I must go to the end of the evening and give it to him. Completing Conrad's quest, although he had no money for me, I didn't feel like I lost out on this deal. Place all the Sephiroth on the obelisk and the towers open. I need to form Constantine and collect my reward. Pilgrimage. After leaving Gramps, he told me that the old man that wants people to call him Gramps asked me to escort him to the Valette shrine in the swamps. Let's follow him and make sure nothing happens to him. The shrine. I escorted Gramps to the Valette shrine. Let the good man pray in peace. As I was leaving Gramps, he told me that he met Berengar. The Witcher was interested in the Druid's elemental circle and the tower ruins. The Druid should know more about this. Gramps invited me to his house as well. Perhaps I'll accept his offer one day. Hildegard asked me to deal with the case of her late husband. His ghost is said to appear in the cemetery at midnight. I have to send him into the beyond. Sent the ghost of Hildegard's husband into the beyond. I've seen the window about my payment. I'll find her near the cemetery. I knew the woman wanted to cheat me, but I got my money in the end. I have never done an autopsy before. Well, there's always been the first time for anything. I have to make an appointment with Shani and get the corpse from the gravedigger. The corpse hasn't been delivered to the graveyard yet, but at least I learned something of interest. I have to call on Shani at her house. We weren't able to talk about the autopsy in the hospital. We need to stay low with this. I'll collect the corpse from the gravedigger. It should take some time, so in the meantime I'll prepare the autopsy. I should talk to people for conducting investigations or read some books. Gravedigger won't let me get the corpse. A bunch of vodka, we should convince him, I reckon. Everything's ready. We're starting at the hospital at midnight. The autopsy results are astonishing. As always, the murderer, the son of a bitch, disguised himself as Raymond, almost fooled me. I have proof to kill the Arcspore. I should take it to Vincent. Killed a very dangerous plant in the swamp. My pouch is now heavier by 400 orens. Vasca complains that the brickmakers have problems with the drowners. She's offering 50 orens for solving this problem. It is not much, but every penny is useful. I must go to the clay pits and kill all drowners I find there. I cleanse the fire, the first pit. I'm halfway through the job, so to speak. Must kill all drowners before I return to Vasca. I cleanse the remaining pits. I think that's all. I must return to Vasca and tell her the clay pits are now safe. Vasca failed to pay me 50 orens as agreed. Instead, she gave me a magic stone called Sephiroth. Dice poker, the novice. I learned the basics of dice poker. Apparently, you can make good money. I read that. Taylor is a good poker face on, but he was no match for my look. I beat him and I want to challenge someone better. Made a deal with the chief lumberjack, Aaron Bolt. The dwarf asked me to find beggartic flowers and he arranged to buy her a ferryman at the harbor. Aaron Bolt expects to have the payment for selling the herb. I have to find 5 beggartic flowers and bring them to the ferryman who lives at a house in the harbor. Druids told me about the beggartic flowers, valuable and rare herb. Non-humans from the swamp are not into herb cultivation. I also feel like they don't like Aaron Bolt. I already gathered 5 beggartic flowers. I have to take them to the ferryman in the harbor. I gave the herbs to the ferryman and was paid. Top to sell accounts to Aaron Bolt. I shared the gold earned by selling the herbs to Aaron Bolt. 50-50 according to our agreement. Agreed to help even fight the Order of the Flaming Rose. I'm supposed to lead his scouts at to the Golem's burial ground. There's a skirmish with the Order of the Flaming Rose at the Golem Cemetery. All attackers are dead. Time to get back to the camp. Yevon was fully satisfied with the reconnaissance and he expressed his gratitude accordingly. I accept a job repairing Bog and deliver small parcel to Vizima to a man named Coleman. No questions asked. I can find him in the Hairy Bear. Easy money or lots of trouble, we'll see. Aaron's parcel is missing from my things. Did Jethro have anything to do with this? I need to have a word with him. The jailer Jethro deemed the parcel illegal and took it. I doubt I can get it back. The address he will not be pleased. Bartender, the Hairy Bear, claims he doesn't know where Coleman is. I guess I should look around the city for him. So it turns out Coleman's dead. The parcel is useless. No one to deliver it to now. So it turns out Coleman is dead. Okay. Jethro spit the bleeds. He said they found the silver sword at Dollar's place. I wonder where the fence got it from. I need to visit him as soon as the business is over. My silver sword didn't belong to Berengar. I wonder how it ended up in Vizima. I should press Dollar a little more harder. Dollar bought the sword from some notorious dice gambler at the Hairy Bear Inn. They need to go there and talk to the guy. Magic gets information from the wretched cheat. He won the sword from some gardener at St. Labodia Hospital. Talked to the gardener. He found the sword after the brink of the Battle of Brenna. Interesting, Shani worked as a medic during this battle. Maybe I'll find out more about the sword. Shani told me about Cohen, the Witcher I used to know. He died in the Battle of Brenna. As the sword for itself, she talked to Zoltan. He knows things like that. Zoltan gave my silver sword a professional appraisal. It says a lot. It is absolutely of prime quality. It's good to have a true Witcher sword with the history at hand. Good lord. Gather all the Sephiroths. The magic stones need to open the entrance to the Mage's Tower. I placed the Tipperoth stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Kuzoth stone in the corresponding monolith. Place the Malkad stone in the corresponding monolith. Place the Venos stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Gavroth stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Oath stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Chocomal stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Yisah stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Kethar stone in the corresponding monolith. I placed the Nethys stone in the corresponding monolith. Missed my chance. I voted too much time in the investigation. Still not enough to Shani. Oops. Shani asked me for small favor. She needs 5 bunches of celandine. I couldn't say no. I need to go to the swamp. That is where it's supposed to grow. I have the herbs Shani asked me to gather. Now I need to bring them to the hospital. Got celandine for Shani. I'm in a good books now. I need to talk to her more often. Maybe she'll ask me about another favor. For now, I think she owes me one. Autopsy is finished with Shani's aid. The poor thing is very tired. She should rest now. I reckon there's something she wants of me. Maybe I should talk to her when she finishes her work. Promised Shani I'd bring alcohol to the party. She wanted some rose wine and cherry liquor for Dandelion. I prefer rye vodka. Need to find some rose wine, cherry cornel, and Temeria and Ryan to bring to Shani's. Brought Shani the alcohol. It's time I thought about my companion. Who should I invite? I must consider the people I know. Perhaps somebody wants to join the party. I invited Zoltan to the party. Now I should go to Shani's house. Another person reacts rather weirdly upon seeing me. Dandelion mentions he saw me die. I think I need a drink. Me and Dandelion had a discussion. My head is spinning. At this pace, some of our guests will end up under the table rather soon. Zoltan asked me to bring some of the pickles and lard from Grandpa's downstairs. Considering the state I'm in, this might be hard to achieve without making a hell of a lot of noise. But hey, I'm a Witcher, and I'm a Witcher after all. Well done. I got the lard and the pickles. Dandelion decided to sing something. Let's see what he has prepared for this occasion. Party's over. I'll make sure to she'll be hungover in the morning. Maybe she'll visit John A. Bring her some roasts and say thanks. Ooh boy, lots of talking. Good God, there's so many left. I have to fight a thug. The winner will have a chance to win his freedom after killing the cockatrice in the sewers. I defeated the thug. I can now go into the sewers to face the cockatrice to get my freedom back. I must talk to Vincent about it. Jethro gave me a silver sword. After killing the cockatrice, I should go to him about collecting my things. Decided to team up with Siegfried. It will be easier to fight together. Apart from that, I will gain the Order's gratitude. I must find the cockatrice nest in the sewers and kill it. Cockatrice is dead. Siegfried proved useful. Should take the creature's head as a trophy. Time to go back up. I don't really like sewers. It must be the aroma, I guess. Several Salamandra bandits attacked us. I wonder where they came from. Must be finally getting out of these sewers. Siegfried gave me the key to leading out of the sewers. There's Zima and all his dangers await outside. I need to recover my things as soon as possible. I equipment is in the chest in the cellar. I hope Jethro didn't take anything as a souvenir. He also recommended that I call on Vincent and demand my reward for the cockatrice head. The merchant Luvarden apparently has some work for a Witcher. I can find the merchant at the dike, where he conducts business in daytime. If I mention our mutual friends, I will easily get the assignment. Luvarden offers me 400 orders for killing drowners. I should use the boat to get to the swamps and get rid of the monsters that might have been haunting the harbor at night. Killed all the monsters. Time to collect my reward from Luvarden. I will find him at the dike. Quest completed. Collected my payment. Worked for Luvarden. Working for Luvarden is a sheer pleasure. Jesus Christ. There are certain clues indicating that Kalkstein the alchemist is somehow connected to Zarjavid. I shall talk to the alchemist. Maybe I'll find out more about it. I decided to give Kalkstein the benefit of the doubt for now. If he is guilty, evidence should surface soon enough. Evidence suggests Kalkstein is innocent. I should speak with him. Tell Kalkstein that the evidence I gathered proves innocent. I earned his gratitude. Raymond says I think Luvarden's work with Salamandra. Let's see what I can wring out of this merchant. Decided to give Luvarden the benefit of the doubt for now. If he is guilty, evidence should surface soon enough. Evidence against Luvarden is innocent. I should speak with him. It turned out Luvarden and I have a common objectives. Gained his financial support in the fight against Salamandra and some useful information. Evidence indicates some sort of connection between Ransmeet and Azar Javed. I'll talk to the bandit and try to learn more. Decided to give Ransmeet the benefit of the doubt for now. If he's guilty, evidence should surface soon enough. Evidence suggests Ramsey is innocent. I should speak to him. Told Ramsey that the evidence I gathered proves him innocent, earned his gratitude, and useful piece of information about Azar Javed. Evidence that suggests there's some sort of connection between Thaler and Azar Javed. I'll talk to the fence and try to learn some more. Decided to give Thaler the benefit of the doubt for now. If he's guilty, evidence should surface soon enough. Evidence against Thaler is innocent. I should speak to him. I told Thaler that the evidence I gathered proves him innocent. I earned his gratitude. I suspected the captain of the city guards, Vincent Mines, might be working for Azar. I will try to wring the truth out of him. Isn't exactly a talkative type, but he did mention checking our various warehouses at midnight, not being paid for it. Interesting. Perhaps I should visit a few warehouses in the slum district after midnight. I've eliminated the salamanders this time. I have a serious talk with Vincent. I won't go anywhere without evidence. Vincent claims he keeps an eye on the salamandra, but that may just be a cover for working with them. I will gather more information and confront Vincent when the time is right. Drink of water. Evidence suggests Vincent is innocent. I should speak to him. Turned out Vincent and I have common cause. He gave me interesting information about Azar. How much more? I have some evidence suggesting there is some sort of connection between the dwarf, Vivaldi, and the salamander. I should talk to the dwarf and learn more. Evidence suggests Vivaldi is innocent. I should speak to him. I told Vivaldi that the evidence I gathered proves him innocent. I earned his gratitude and some gained useful piece of information about Azar Javed. Coxstein will pay the cash for the amount of 3 Alguls. I had marrow 3 Alguls and I should deliver to Coxstein. Job done. Coxstein can bring up a mountain of potions. I killed the cockatrice and took it set out as proof. I should see Vincent now. Delivered proof of having killed the cockatrice and received 400 orens. Cannibal lives in a hut on the island. I must find him. Turns out Gramps, from who I took the Melitili chapel, is a cannibal. The old man is a cannibal and make sure he doesn't eat anyone else. Another beast is dead. Raymond told me that the city guards caught a member of the Salamanders. I need to get him and learn as much as I can about Salamander. I should ask Jethro, the prison guard, where he's held. Jethro knows something and wants Fistek in exchange for the information. Coleman is dead. I have to find another source of Fistek for Jethro. Someone at the end might know something about this. I managed to get some Fistek for Jethro. And in return for Fistek, Jethro told the guards transported the prisoner to St. Labodia's hospital. Might be able to speak with him there. The prisoner was in the hospital, was in a hopeless condition. All he managed to do was mess with the name of Coxstein. We could have proceeded with the investigation of Ramsey thugs. Raided the hospital, named Coxstein some lead. I wonder what Raymond is going to say about it. Almost done. After questioning the witnesses, After questioning the witness, we now had 2 promising clues leading the alchemist Coxstein and the bandit Ramsmeet. Gravedigger wants to exterminate all of his Zima stray dogs. He'll pay for 6 pots of dog tallow. I have 6 pots of dog tallow. I should see the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger pay me for the dog tallow, but dog catching is not my idea of a pleasant pursuit. Siegfried to pay for 10 tongues of the drowned dead. I have 10 tongues of the drowned dead. I should see Siegfried and collect my reward. Job done. Siegfried pay me in gold for the drowned dead tongues. Gardner posted a notice offering a reward for killing 3 Econops. 3 root stacks must be provided as proof. I have 3 Econops root stacks. I see the Gardener and collect my reward. Job done. The Gardener paid for killing the Econops. Basker revealed to me the story of the tower. To open it, I must consult the tarot card that illustrates how to defeat the golem in the tower sentry. To wake the golem up, I have to arrange a lightning storm to get a lightning rod. Piece of cake. First I should find a craftsman. The storm without the lightning is of little use to me anyway. The Dwarven blacksmith wants 50 orens for the lightning rod, and I have to bring him the money. Bought the lightning rod from the blacksmith. Now I must find a way to create a storm in the swamps. I believe the druids are weather experts. The druids can create a storm for me, but they want 500 orens for that. I have to bring them the money or wait for the natural storm. Paid the druids. I hope the storm is worth its price. Now I must find the golem, place his lightning rod in the sand, and wait for the lightning. Awaken the golem. The golem is awoken. I have to defeat it and throw the tower. enter the tower and find the Sephiroth. Defeat the golem, must take the Sephiroth out. I have another Sephiroth hidden inside the golem. It's not an easy task. Someone named Jean-Pierre is buying wolf pelts. Supposedly I can find them by the landing at the swamp. I have 10 wolf pelts. I should deliver them to Jean-Pierre at the landing at the swamp. Jean-Pierre hopes the wolf pelts will get him appointed royal huntsman. God damn it. Holy shit. Let's just see if it's even confidential last. The investigation is not as straightforward as Raymond might wish. Apparently not all the suspects are guilty. I have irrefutable evidence as Arjava disguises himself as Raymond. This knowledge is dangerous indeed. I must be realistic. If I face Hazar in his terms, I will meet a certain death. Kalkstein became an ally against Azar. We decided to use Salamander's interest in the Marsh Tower and lure Azar into a trap. Bandits are harassing the girls working on the streets near the Hairy Bear. Only a bastard wouldn't help a woman need. I need to go there to 3 of the most dangerous places at night and kick some bandits' asses. That should help. I taught a group of bandits a hard lesson. I taught 3 of the largest groups of bandits a lesson. The girls should be safe from now. I need to see Carmen to get paid. Carmen tried to lie her way out of rewarding me, but she paid up in the end. I even got a discount with the girls. I agreed to take your Even's letter to Vivaldi, his friend of Azima. He even trusted me after all. I could tell the authorities, for example, the guard captain, about Vivaldi's dealings with the squirrels. Gave the letter to Vivaldi and he told me to return later to get the reply. I received Vivaldi's reply for Yavin. I must now go to the swamps to give it to him. I took the letter to Yavin and gained his gratitude. I must remember, however, that authorities have little sympathy for those who deal with squirrels. I'm beginning an investigation with the help of a private eye. The goal is to find someone who works as Arjavin and trace Salamander boss this way. My first clue is about Salamandra. The city guard is holding an important witness. I need to speak to you. I should have a word with the jailer, Jethro. Seems the Salamanders have a secret agent who set a trap for me. Must find out who he is. First I should interrogate the prisoner being held by the city guards. I've done some hell of an investigator's work. I began uncovering Vincent and I interrogated the witness at the hospital. I found he traces leading to Ramsmeet and Kalkstein, and time to get back to Raymond and summarize the discoveries. Excuse me. There's strong evidence against Ramsmeet and the alchemist Kalkstein. Raymond will take care of the former. I must gain the alchemist's trust. In order to do so, I have to get an important assignment from him. There's strong evidence against Ramsmeet and Kalkstein, the alchemist. Raymond will deal with the thug. I must gain the alchemist's trust. Let's do that by getting an important assignment from him. Kalkstein trusts me already. It's time to talk to Raymond to decide how to use his trust. A group of Salamander gang members attacked the private investigator. Lucky I managed to hold him back. I'll see how Raymond's doing. The private investigator decided to lay low. He gave me a list of suspects. He should recover them as soon as possible, or Raymond attracts the Salamander's attention. Spoken Ramsmeet, but his confession alone is insufficient. I need to get a full picture. I need to interrogate other suspects. Spoke with Thaler, but his confession alone is insufficient. I need to get a full picture. I've heard the stories of Ramsmeet and Thaler, and now I need to interrogate the merchant to get a full picture. Imagine learning some interesting things about suspects. Now I must wait for Raymond to contact me. Raymond sent the messenger. He wants to meet as he gain new information. I wonder how he will react to my discoveries. Raymond was not interested in my discoveries. Small wonder if there is newer clue. To move this investigation forward, I must perform an autopsy. The body is probably in the gravedigger's possession, as Shawnee will help me with the autopsy. Autopsy explains a lot of things. I'm very close to home. Time to go to Raymond's house. As a result of the autopsy, I'll learn that Azar Javed impersonates Raymond. I will go to him and pretend the autopsy proved nothing and see what happens. I told Raymond that I discovered nothing of it during the autopsy. I will not tell him that he is Azar. Azar impersonating Raymond is behind all this and must lure him into a trap. I told Raymond that I had killed Ramsey. He's going away from near the tower. Everything's going smoothly. The fake private investigator gave me his Sephiroth, and I could stop pretending. I found the magic treatise that Azar desired so badly. For years it lay safely hidden away in the tower in the swamp. Azar is in for an unpleasant surprise. I uncovered Azar and his devious trick perfectly. It's a shame that he managed to get away, but as King Desmond used to say, there's luck in leisure, and if you're born to hang, you won't drown. Alright, thanks for watching.